Welcome to the Silent Thinking Podcast, a space to slow down, breathe, and reconnect. Today, I'm reading from Walking the Path, A Leader's Journey by Dr. Keith McNally, a reflective story about the inner journey of leadership. Just listen and let the stillness support you. The story continues. It was Friday night. After a long, overly strenuous week on the farm, John and his family sat at the dinner table. John was a fully grown boy of 17, with a birthday coming in a few weeks. His father's farm, the largest farm in the valley, was also the most productive farm in the community. So much so that John's father was considered a master farmer and a legend in his time. The farm, of course, was inherited from John's grandfather, and so forth. When he grew older, John would be the fifth generation to run the family business. Despite the popularity and productivity of the farm, John's heart was not invested in it. As a teenager, his interest grew beyond the valley. He often thought about what life might be like beyond the mountains that encircle the valley he lived in. He thought about this often. But every time he brought up the idea of doing something different, his father always chastised him. His father reminded him that he had a good life. He was safe, had plenty of food, and maintained a good group of friends. What more could anyone ask for? But John wanted more. At the very least, he wanted something different. "Dad, I want to go on an adventure," John said. John knew this idea would be either shot down or ignored. He risked the conversation anyway. "What type of an adventure?" John's father replied. "I don't know," John said sheepishly. "Maybe take a hike into the mountains." "Why would you want to do that?" his mother asked. "I heard there were different types of animals in the mountains," John replied. "You heard no such thing," John's father said. "No one goes into the mountains." "That's not true," John retorted. "The legend is that there was a man from the village who went into the mountains years ago." "And he never came back," John's father said sternly. "Probably eaten by some bear, or even worse, got himself lost and starved to death." "But what if he wasn't eaten by an animal?" John snapped back. "What if he made it over the mountain?" "There would be no way of telling," his older sister started. "No one goes over the mountain. No one has any sense anyway." John's older sister glared into John's eyes and smiled widely. "Well," John started again, "I think it's worth finding out." "No, you don't," John Feather snapped. "Now, John, we had this talk before. You don't need to go on any adventures, and I need you here. You're a big help to me. I need you on the farm." "But what if there's more out there?" John said shyly. "Wouldn't it be great to find out?" "No," his father said sharply. "Your place is here." No one who ever talked about going into the mountains and actually did it ever came back. Life is good here. "But," John started again. "I don't want to hear any more about it," John's father said. With that, John knew not to bring the subject up anymore at the table. But that night was just like every other night in the past year. John thought about all the things that could be over the mountain. No longer was he just thinking about it. He was planning on making the trip. He was going to find a way to go on an adventure. The next day, when he finished his chores, John decided he would risk the next phase of his plan. "I'll be back before dinner," John said, and off he went. John walked to an old treehouse that he and some friends played in a long time ago. It's been several years since he last visited the treehouse, and he wondered if it was still there. John knew the old treehouse was a few miles away, so he packed a sack with food. He grabbed his bow and arrows, just in case, and told his mom that he was going to do some target shooting. Since this was not unusual, his mother thought nothing of it. Despite the many years since his last trip to the treehouse, it still looked to be in a good shape. The stairs reaching up remained nailed to the tree. The stairs were more like a ladder made of blocks of wood nailed to the trunk. John made his way up. As expected, it was a mess. For an hour, John cleaned it up, clearing away old branches and cobwebs that accumulated over the years. A small table and some wood-made chairs were still there. John laughed as he tried to sit in one. He was much bigger now that he was older. Regardless, he made do. He pulled out his notebook and a pencil from his sack and began writing notes. He stopped when he heard someone call out, "What are you doing up there?" Liz asked. She climbed up into the treehouse before John could answer the question. "How did you know I was here?" John asked. "I followed you, silly," Liz replied. "Why are you all the way out here?" John thought before answering, but he trusted her. And given the past week conversations, he made up his mind to tell her. He guessed this was the time. "I'm going on an adventure," he said. "Great, I'm coming too," she said excitedly. Before John could establish a rebuttal, Liz calmed his fears. They talked for an hour as John explained what he needed to do and why he needed to do it. He told her of his conversation with Jose. Liz nodded her understanding, but said nothing of the fact that she too had a chat with Jose. And as long as Jose kept his word, he would not tell John about it either. "I need to know that there is something other than this valley," John said solemnly. "I don't care what it is. I just want to know. There has to be more out there." "Agreed," Liz replied. "But you can come with me," John said. "And you can do it alone," Liz retorted. "Liz," John began, "this is no laughing matter. I intend to go away and not come back." "Why?" Liz asked, her face saddened by the thought of losing a good friend. "And this time, I want an answer. You've been hinting to the idea for a while now. I get it. You want to know what's beyond the mountains. Now you're telling me you made up your mind. I want to know why." "It's difficult to say," John confessed. "I just feel lost in a sea of people. Working for my dad is great, but the way he treats me, it's like if I'm just one of his employees. I don't even feel like he thinks of me as a son anymore. I want him to treat me like his, like a part of the family." Liz nodded. She understood what John was talking about. "It sounds ungrateful," John continued. "I mean, he treats his employees great, but I don't want to be one of his employees. I want to do my own thing. I want to hunt. I want to fish. I want to go on adventures." John paused and looked out of the treehouse window. "I want to leave this place and never come back." "Then I want to go with you," Liz said solemnly. "I can help you." "How can you help?" John asked. "The mountains are quite tall," Liz added, "and look, they surround the entire valley. There's miles and miles of them." Liz walked over to where John was and pointed out the same window. "We are surrounded. No matter which way you go, you're going to have a long walk. And that walk is going to be mighty lonely. I can keep you company." "You have a life here," John said, looking away. John had not thought about how Liz would feel by telling her he wanted to leave for good. "I don't have a life here. The only life I have is being stuck on the farm." John slumped down until his legs stretched out in front of him as he sat on the floor of the treehouse. "We've been friends for a very long time," Liz said, "and I know you've talked about leaving the valley in the past. Part of me thought you were only kidding." but there was a piece of me deep inside that knew someday it would come to this. You would make up your mind and decide to leave. Lee stopped and sat down next to John. To be honest, I actually thought that I would wake up one day and find out that you were gone. Tears began to stream down Lee's cheeks. She did her best wiping them away with her hands. John looked at her, not knowing what to say or do. He had not expected her to follow him here. He felt foolish, not knowing how to comfort her. Did you know that I actually stayed awake some nights fearing that very thing? Liz continued. And all this year you kept hinting to the idea, and I was getting scared. At this point, John put his arm around Liz's shoulders. I'm glad you didn't just run off, Liz said. But that's why I followed you today. I thought you were actually going to do it. So like I said, if you're leaving, so am I. Liz, John said, I love that you want to come with me, but I'm scared enough as it is for me. I don't know what to expect out there. I'm scared enough as it is for me. I don't know what to expect out there. I don't know all of what's in the mountains, and I don't know what's on the other side. All I know is that I have to find out. It's okay to be scared, Liz said. I was scared that I would lose you, but you're not going to lose me. I'm your friend. You have always trusted me. Trust me now. I can help you cross that mountain. Thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me. If this brought you please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video, and share it with someone who might need a little stillness too. Until next time, keep listening inward.